What's going on, YouTube? That was a new song there that I just played. It's going to be out next year sometime. This is my first time actually doing this on YouTube. I'm trying to figure out how this works. Live chat, top chat, there we go. Cool, that way I can see what you guys are saying. If you guys have any requests, I'll try to meet those requests as best as I can. Yeah, nice intro. Yeah, that was a full song. Still in the works, but I just finished recording it, and yeah, it should be out next year. So I'm currently working on some new kind of chill type pieces, as opposed to these more aggressive songs that I kind of used to play a lot more. Those are fun too, don't get me wrong, but speaking of one of those, why don't I play one of those? Yeah, I can play Zim Blues, also Zaire. Sure, I can play both of those. I'm just in a different tuning right now, so maybe I'll just play another one here. And how do I choose tunings? That's a really good question. Most of the time, it's just from experimenting. Most of the time, it's just a matter of just trying things out and making mistakes. Making mistakes is, I think, one of the most important things that I've been able to do to kind of discover tunings and stuff like that. But this tuning right here is just in double drop D. So we got low E, high E, both in drop D. Really nice for the key of D, obviously, but good for the key of G as well, I guess. But I've got a lot of songs in this tuning. This is definitely one of my favorite tunings right now, double drop D. I've got another song called Klingerstrasse. It's dedicated to my time in Germany. More of the kind of Travis picking style. Maybe I'll play that one since I'm in this tuning right now. That was Klingerstrasse, also known as tendonitis on my right hand, just from doing so much crazy stuff with the right hand. It's not really something that I do a lot of. This whole Merle Travis style of playing. There's people who do it much better than I do. It's actually a song I wrote kind of as an exercise, which was a lot of fun, and I still play it today every once in a while at some shows. But it's just always good, I think, because I know there's a lot of guitar players here probably watching, that if you're looking to kind of explore, and if you've ever reached a plateau, which I think many of us do, not only at music, but I mean more in general in life and stuff like that. It's always good to mix things up and look for other inspirations, sources of inspiration anyway. And that's what I tend to do. Like if I'm ever stuck or kind of just at a writer's block or something like that, I try to just learn something that's completely different from what I'm used to. And so that really helps, I feel, just to get out of the rut of playing the same things over and over again. I've been getting into this YouTube channel. I don't remember the name, but it talks about this whole thing called like hexatonic scales and stuff like that. Really fun to play, very different from what I'm doing, so it's very stimulating, I guess. That's a good thing. I'm just going to try to read some of your comments here. Yeah, cool to see some people from all the way from Australia. Very cool. Yeah. Chill pieces are good too. Yeah, try to mix it up between a little bit of calm pieces, more ballads, introspective songs, and some more aggressive stuff. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's just like, as to be the most well-rounded player, I guess, it's really good to, I think, have just this kind of understanding of how to play multiple styles so you can always blend in. You never know when you're in a little jam session and you don't really know what to do. So it's good to kind of practice and maybe be prepared for that, if that's your kind of thing. That's more of a Persian style of playing, Yeah, the Persian stuff's really fun to play too. Something that I usually tend to do more when I'm just kind of improvising on stage. It's not really something I do a lot of when I do like recordings, proper recordings anyway, and things like that. But it's a lot of fun, and again, it's just one of those things that I feel like the more you know of this sort of stuff, the better and easier it will be to do more things freely, especially when you're on stage. I know there's maybe some people watching who are performers as well. It's a whole different world, as many of you know, than just the composing. I want to play a piece here since I'm in this tuning, dedicated to my good old times and how I became a Canadian citizen. And this is a song called Most Glorious Day. Probably one of my first songs that I played, that I wrote actually in this whole percussive style of playing the guitar. Most Glorious Day. It's a bit of a funny story. I won't really get into that, but I'll just play the song because, well, I gotta practice it. That was Most Glorious Day. Good old double drop D. Just gonna read some of this stuff. Yeah, I shared this 10 years ago. I think it must have been even more than that. This is a really pretty old song. Still play it, just to kind of brush up on the older songs. I've written quite a number of songs over the years that I really can't play really well. So it's one of those things that I like to keep going back to songs and just maybe kind of go back over it and just refresh my mind. Because it's one of those things that when I tab things out, it's really important for me to have the tabs ready so that if I do ever want to play it, or if I have a request for a show that I need to play it, I can always just go back. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so let's see. Is this a one-time thing? I don't know. This is my first time trying out YouTube Live, to be honest, so I don't really know. I did a couple Instagram Lives before, and so if you're not following me on Instagram, you can follow me there. I tend to do them more over there. It's at Maneli Jamal. And yeah, but who knows? If you guys like this sort of stuff, I can definitely do more of this on YouTube. So I think the quality might be better. I don't know. Maybe you guys can let me know if you guys can hear everything okay, because I have no idea. I can just hear the room that I'm in right now. So yeah, electric jams coming soon. I don't know about that. Maybe down the line for sure. It's just a matter of when at this point. I've just been focusing a lot on other things right now, not just music, although I love playing music, and music will always be a big part of my life. I've kind of moved over to some new interests in life and kind of working on that, especially film, getting really into film a lot more and things like that, and just some other kind of hobbies that I'm kind of into these days, but yeah. All right, we got the whole world here. We got Indonesia, we got people from Australia. It's great. The audio is really good. Great. Okay, good. This is just on the iPad, so glad it sounds good. Beautiful. Yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything on maybe specific songs, you can ask me this here. I know I get a lot of requests on like very specific technique or very specific sort of, parts of songs and things like that. So this might be a good time to do it if you do have any questions. I've only got maybe a few more minutes here before I sign off for the day, but maybe I'll play an older request, which was Zaire. I could do that. Zaire is a fun one for me to play. It's definitely one that I play a lot. Right now I'm playing in double drop D, so D, A, D, G, B, D. Great for the key of D. And now I'm going to go into this tuning. Cold Arrival, you mute strings. Which part of Cold Arrival are you referring to? I'm trying to think of where I mute the strings. Is it the bridge part? Maybe it's the middle part. I'm not really sure which one you're talking about, but if you can kind of be specific about that, I can definitely help you out with that. For a new song, what comes first? Well, the very first thing is that it's good to know that every artist is going to look at it differently. And the way I do it, the melody does not come first, or the harmony, or the chord structure. To be honest, what comes first is the visual experience of what I have in my head. And I think I'm a very visual person, so I tend to write with visions in mind, not necessarily with like what sounds good. For me, it's more about like if I can play a chord and it makes me see certain things that I'm trying to go for, I go with that. That's why I say that like not everyone is going to have the exact same way of writing music as far as like what is more important: melody, chord structure, harmony. They're all important. They're all important at some stage of life, in some stage, not life, but at some stage of the writing process. But I feel that a strong part of writing, of composing in general, comes from having just experience, and it's one of those things like experience is the most important thing in life, I think, to write interesting music, because when you don't experience things, well, your life can be a little bit dull, and I feel like the more life experience you have, the more you get out there and do things that maybe are out of your comfort zone, things that you fear, for example, face those fears and overcome them. They will make for a great story. Not only that, but artistically speaking, it will really help you grow a lot too. So that's kind of what I would say in regards to that. Okay, so you said the bridge of Cold Arrival. Yeah, I'll play that new track. Yeah, YouTube Live every day for my fans. Yeah, I can do that. Maybe not every day, but maybe a weekly thing. Yeah, music is such an interesting thing, the whole approach towards music. I'm fascinated by it, and I think it's the process that's more exciting for me than the end goal of actually having a song written. It's the process of experimenting and kind of going through the ins and outs of all the positions of the inversions of a chord, and kind of going from there. So let's talk about that Cold Arrival. I think you're referring to this part. If that is that part, it's actually quite simple. It's this thing that I call a percussive strike, and I'm doing a palm hit and a strum down at the same time to hit the lower 3 strings. So in slow motion, it looks like this. Okay, so that's the first thing. After this first percussive strike, I'm going to do that pull-off hammer on there, and then I'm going to basically take my palm and do a little karate chop on the bridge. You can hear right here how I'm hitting it. Hopefully you can hear that. But that's all I'm doing. I'm doing that percussive strike, pull off, hammer on, doing a mute there, and then leaving it there, pull off, hammer on. So it's like a pull off, hammer on, pull off, hammer on. You can even lift it up before you finish it. So you see, that's kind of the technique that I'm doing. It's a very specific question, which is very cool because it's one of those things I don't really think about these techniques too much. It just, whatever feels right, sounds good. That's kind of my approach to it. How did you approach music theory and guitar when you first started playing? To be honest, that's a really tough question for me to give you an accurate answer for because I grew up in a very musical family. I've got 3 older brothers, all played music. Both of my parents, music, art was around us all the time. So it was kind of this unspoken, indirect way of learning music, which is the best way, I think, to learn music when you're just around it with other people kind of informing you about like the ins and outs of it. But I didn't really approach theory so direct in the sense that I learned it right away because I played violin for 5 years before that, so I had a little bit of an understanding of theory from playing the violin for those 5 years, just because my dad's a violin player, so that kind of helped. And what is the great artwork on your wall behind you? That's actually my dad's artwork. As I mentioned, both of my parents are artists, and this is one of my dad's artwork. I think he drew this in the 80s or so, more of an impressionistic style or abstract or kind of in that world. And he's a brilliant artist and a great musician who I've learned so many things from. I'm so thankful to have him in my life because he's just taught me so many things about music. Again, that's just that whole thing of like being brought up in a world where, like when you're a kid, when you're a little baby, for example, and you're surrounded by people who speak the language, whatever language, say English, really well, you almost look up to them because they have this great understanding of the language. And the way I approach it is the same thing with music and art. When you're around people who are great at music and art, it makes it very easy to kind of gravitate towards that and have a clear understanding, a clearer, I should say, understanding of what is art and what isn't, I guess, Yeah. Can I do an improvised jam, fusion of Persian and jazz? That's very specific. Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely, this is going to be uploaded into the YouTube, my YouTube channel, I think. I have no plans of just deleting this. I know some people, I guess, do that. I don't know. But yeah, I'll leave this up for you guys so you guys can always go back to this and have a look. So that was a request for Zim Blues. Zim Blues, maybe I'll do that one. Great questions, by the way. It's always good to be engaged here. You know what? Actually, let me play a new song for you guys. Never before heard. made it through without making a mistake. Yeah, it's a brand new song. I don't have a name for this just yet. Just a really kind of fun, good vibe, happy summer type song. It'll probably be out next year as well. Got a lot of songs that I'm recording right now to have ready for the next year. So it's a lot of fun just to kind of share this stuff with you guys, maybe kind of like a little experiment. Just gonna go back through the comments and see if there's anything I missed. Yeah, I'm glad you guys like the collaborations that I'm working on. That's kind of been a new kind of path for me, which is a lot of fun to be collaborating with a lot of great players around the world. I think that's one of the coolest things actually about being a musician in today's world, that we don't even need to be face to face. We can easily just create music over the internet, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so much traveling, so much, yeah, thank you. So yeah, Due South, favorite songs. No, so unfortunately the slide part is not in that tab. Randy Core is an amazing slide player from Nashville. Yeah, it's not in there, unfortunately. I can't play his part because I don't have a slide guitar. Couldn't tab it out. But my part's in there. Let's see. I collaborated with the guy from Protest to Hero. That's right, yeah, I did. That's funny. Wow, you guys, that's very specific. Where to watch that? I have no idea. That's a very good question. I don't know where to watch that, but we did have a few shows together playing bass and stuff. It was really cool. Yeah, no, that was, it's been a good little journey playing with a lot of players around the world, and very thankful for that. How about a cumbia? I will definitely consider doing this again. Yeah. I don't have anything yet to show you guys with my own film projects, but it will come soon. I'm mostly just doing a lot of work for my friends and stuff like that. I've actually done some stuff for quite a few people, just like a live one take, me floating around with the camera around them kind of thing. But yeah, once I'm ready to kind of showcase that, I'll definitely do a little shout out here. The thing is, right now I've been doing a lot of editing. I just filmed a masterclass that I'm going to release next year. It's going to be 60 lessons in depth on everything from the basics to the most advanced stuff that I play. Taking you from all of that. It's even got a part from Vasat in it. I'm teaching that. I'm teaching a lot of different parts for my songs. It's a long time in the making, and I'm glad I finally finished all the filming. I did the filming myself, the editing, the audio. This is pretty much the biggest project I've ever taken on up to this day. So it's a lot of fun. But yeah, that'll be kind of the next project for me, film-wise anyway, because it's just such a heavy project. Maybe like a 2-year project or so. Let's see here. Yeah. You want to hear it? Vasat live. I can play you the right-hand picking pattern and take my money. Yeah, I'll take it, sure. No shows for the US right now. As many of you might know, I got a little bit of some problems down there, or I used to anyway. I used to have a 10-year bar from the States. because we lived there for 9 years, moved to Canada. Long story, but it's a little bit of a troublesome area for me to kind of go down to the States right now. I'm trying to avoid it a little bit with what's going on down there politically. So I'm sure I'll be back though. I have a lot of dear friends in the States, and it's always a good time when I'm there. But yeah, I'm sure I'll be back at some point. But right now I don't have any gigs really at all anywhere. I'm taking some time off from touring. When are you coming to Brazil? Yeah, I would really love to come to Brazil. It's one of the places where I know guitar is such a part of the culture there that I'd love to experience the Brazilian culture and just to see what that's like. Unfortunately, nothing planned. It's kind of hard to find promoters down there who really believe in your art, and when they haven't seen you, they really got to see you. Promoters have to see you play live a lot of the times, yeah, so. Yeah, the masterclass should be out next year. I don't know when. I'm not going to rush it. It's one of those things. I really will not rush this process. I want it to be perfect. I want it to be close to perfect before I release it to you guys. And when I do, I will have some of it will be free, of course, but some of it will be, a one-time fee that you can access all the 60 lessons, as well as my life story. It's like all my pedals. I go over everything. I go over like what I like to wear. I'm just kidding. I don't talk about that. No one cares about that. No, this is my dad's artwork behind me right here. My dad is a visual artist and a musician, so he was kind enough to give me about 10 of his paintings, which is pretty cool, and I have them all throughout my house because I grew up with these paintings here, so it's really nostalgic to have that energy here as well. That's another song that I'm starting to work on. A little bit of Stevie Ray Vaughan, a little bit of Stevie. His classic tune, Scuttle Button. But it's my version. It's not exactly note for note for what he's doing, because I could never play that. It's a little bit too crazy for me. But yeah, no, it's a lot of fun to play kind of the blues stuff. Maybe I'll do Zim Blues here. Do part of Zim Blues. That was a little bit of Zim Blues for you. It's a fun song, also in standard tuning. Yeah, the editing for Six in Harmony, it's actually done with a good buddy of mine who we both kind of worked on that editing. And then from there on out, I think I did the editing for all the rest of the videos. That was just a fun project because I was a bit of a time crunch, and I do like to outsource things if I have to. But otherwise, I usually do most of the video stuff and the editing and the recording myself. Try to anyways. I cannot play Adapt and Accept Part 2 because I don't think I remember that. But I think if I were to look at the tabs, I'd probably be able to relearn it anyway. I did have a student recently on Skype who wanted to learn it, and we did go through it again. So I probably could play it, but the tuning is a little bit whack. It's a string breaking tuning, and don't want to go there right now. But yeah, that's a really fun song, Adapt and Accept Part 2, really good fun. But I also want to mention that I got a new song coming out tomorrow. It's going to be, it's actually one of my older songs called Synchro Destiny, but this is done on a nylon guitar. I'm actually going to be releasing a new CD January 3rd, that's a Friday, the very first week of the new year. With that, it's going to be all that sort of kind of chill, ambient, not ambient, but more like romantic, I guess you could say, romantic guitar kind of stuff. Yeah, Paca would definitely not say that. Paca would probably be like, why is he playing so badly? Then I'll play that Mediterranean Sundance. That's a great song. Awakening, yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites. Definitely one of my Awakening is definitely a great composition for me to play, just because it's such a heavy piece. It's a monster piece that's very difficult for me to play well. That's why I typically don't play that song live. It's just it's more of a heart attack inducing song for me. It's a tough one, but it's my favorite just because it's one of the first songs I think where I really was very proud of it. Because I got to see kind of this one idea, this main little part, that little section, in a different tuning, of course, but it's that sort of 5/8 or 7, I don't remember the timing of that, but this sort of odd time meter going on, and I was quite happy about getting that while doing some harmonics in there. But the story, of course, of that song is what is probably way more important than the song itself. Which has to do with my dad, of course, and him kind of having some trouble in our home country of Iran. But all these songs that I'm playing have a story. There's a storytelling approach, especially at live settings, that I kind of go through with these pieces, kind of bring the audience a little closer into the music. You know what I mean? Yeah. Adapt and Accept Part 2 is great. Adapt and Accept Part 1 is actually a really nice piece of mine that I love to play, just because that's another very difficult piece, because space, there's a lot of difficulty in playing notes like that just ring out, So that's kind of a pretty fun thing to do, I think, just to work on as a musician. All right, if you guys have any other questions, now's the time to ask. I've just got a couple minutes here before I'm going to head out and call it a night today. So if you have any questions or concerns, comments, now's your time, because otherwise I will read them at a later time. Practice routine. We'll talk about that one. So practice routine. What do I do to practice? I just play a song. That's usually the best way to practice, and it's the most productive way to practice. And if you can't play the song, play it at half tempo. If you can't play it at half tempo, play it at 25% of it. The way I approach this sort of practice routine can be systematic, but it can also be very just go with the flow. Kind of just see what happens. Usually I'll just maybe play some scales, maybe some triplets. That sort of thing. Those are really fun and really good, kind of nimble fingers, kind of get them activated and things like that. But yeah, the practice routine is pretty not organized most of the time because I have enough songs, I guess, to play that I can just play that, instead of that. I don't play classical music, even though I have some classical technique, because I think fingerstyle right now is at that point. It has been for a while actually, but I think where like all these techniques are coming together. But tone is so important. That's such an important thing that classical guitar players, really good classical guitar players, have, and something I really admire about them. And so I've worked a lot on the right hand. The right hand is where the money is here when it comes to the guitar, in my opinion. This is what's going to give you a lot of your personality. And if the more nimble they are and the more free they are, the more things you can do to express yourself. So of course, the more technical you can be, also it allows you to just express yourself more freely, right? I mean, that's something my dad taught me at a very young age that I still hold today. Even though not all my songs are technical, a lot of them are more like chill now. They're really stripped down. But if I need to, I'll play a more technical piece as well. Yeah, so the new album is actually going to be a digital only. I'm only doing CDs now, as far as the plan is right now, is just to do them all digital, because it doesn't require any overhead. I don't have to buy the physical CDs, ship them out. Everything is just going to be digital from now on. I think that's just the future of the music industry. And to be honest, usually you sell the most CDs live. Yeah, iTunes, Spotify, anything digital, it's going to be everywhere. It's kind of the way it's going right now. So you'll be able to purchase it through my website. I've also got a mailing list. Please sign up for it. If you are not already signed up for it, you'll be first to know about all the updates that I have. It's on my website at manelijamal.com. If you guys are interested, you can sign up on the mailing list. I'll add you, and I'll send you some goodies as well. Yeah, so thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for the nice comments, the good energy. That's really, really powerful, and really means a lot to me. I really appreciate that. And do you plan to make any covers? No, I don't really like to do too many covers. I just used to, stick to my originals. That's kind of my passion. There's too much good music out there that many people can play better than me, that I'd rather let them do covers of that. I'd just rather focus on my own stuff for now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for checking this out. I'll probably definitely do this again, since this is my first time doing it. But yeah, and so it was a good hour or so here with you guys. Thanks again. If you guys want to find out more about the song that I'm releasing tomorrow, it's called Synchro Destiny. It'll be on my website, and it'll actually be on YouTube as well tomorrow morning, as well as the mailing list. So you guys will be first to know about my masterclass that's coming out next year, a 60-lesson masterclass, fully intensive, kind of beginning to end. Probably going to be about 5 hours worth of material, if not 6. Just heavy, intensive kind of playing to get you from the beginning to the most advanced that you can be. But anyway, that'll be it for today. Thank you guys for coming in, checking out the music, and having nice comments here. I really appreciate that. And until next time, cheers.